Hi, Abby. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Sophie. Hi, everyone. Happy Memorial Day.
That's right.
I hope
Memorial Day.
everyone's having a lovely day today so far.
Yeah. Hey, Abby, today there is a request from Dima to talk about sharing.
I love this topic. And Dima, thank you so much for such a great request. This is going to be a great call.
Yeah. You know, I love also this topic. I really do. And I do because people do not share, right?
Yep.
So yesterday I was with two women and we were chatting. It was two girlfriends that I met recently. They're awakened, but they're not in this conversation too much.
Right.
In Spanish. And the conversation was sweet, right? But on the surface.
Right.
And then one timidly started to say that she was anxious, that she woke up in the morning anxious. And that was my opening.
Oh, I love that. Yep.
Because, you know, the other one was just telling her, okay, well, get busy and all that, right? But I dived in and shared myself, my experience of how I deal with my anxiety and where it came from and what happened in my life. And then they started to open up.
Wow.
And they started to share what happened to them when they were 12 years old.
Wow.
Right. And the 2 hours were one of connection and intimacy and support and love.
Oh, I love that. The richness.
So, yeah, that is what sharing makes available. Now, why, as a human being, do we not want to share? Right? It's not sufficient to say it's because we are in survival.
Right.
That's the obvious. But what are the conversations that stops us, right? What are they going to think about me? I'm going to occur weak. Maybe they will gossip about me and say what I said.
Maybe they'll think I'm too much, like I'm just too much to be around.
They will laugh at me, sarcasm, mockery. I will look bad.
Yep.
My reputation will be impacted.
Absolutely.
Right? So all that, if we put it in a nutshell, it's being vulnerable. Because even if any of those things happen, it doesn't have anything to do with us. It has to do with the person that is doing the things.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So the first thing is to get present to the fear that is generated by survival, right? If you share, you won't survive. You will not give a good image of yourself.
Right. Yes.
You think. But look at the false idea that is. When you and I share, Abby, on this call, people are moved.
Yeah. They
thank us for sharing our humanity, our life, our struggles, our victories, our failures. If we look bad to anyone watching us, it's their problem.
Yes. I love that. I love what you're saying, because I think that is the primary thing that stops us from being very vulnerable, is just in some way, shape, or form, the fear of what someone might think of us and how that will affect the general ripple of our community. I had an experience this weekend as well with a new friend who's very fit. She's like a CrossFit champion, and she was asking me, she owns the gym that I go to, and she was asking, what brought you back to the gym and why did it take you so long to come? Because my wife was there before. And I just shared really openly with her that, my whole life I had been such a people pleaser, and I had done everything because everyone else was doing it in my life. It wasn't coming from an authentic place for me. And that as I started to get to know myself, I had to authentically go to the gym for myself, not because someone I loved was doing it or because I thought I should, but because I wanted to. And I was like, she might not get this. It's clearly not her world. She totally got it. And it really connected us really deeply. And she shared some of things that she's been going through and thinking about. It was such a beautiful experience. And now we can't wait to go on another walk together.
That's right. So sharing call for sharing.
Yes.
And depth and getting profound and getting connected and love, right? Yes. So, I mean, there is nothing to resist about sharing. There is only the bringing of awareness to what stops you from sharing yourself. Yes.
I love that. I love that.
With compassion. So sharing, what is it, right? So first, before we say what sharing is, right? First, if you're really scared about sharing yourself, and I'm not talking about sharing your noise.
Yeah. Yes.
We're not sharing about vomiting on people. That's not sharing.
Right.
Right? When you share, you have an intention to create a result. Like on this call, Abby, you and I always have an intention to make a difference for people and to serve, right? So Dima asked, can you talk about sharing? We're talking about sharing.
Yes.
Okay. So if you're really nervous, just say it. I want to share something with you, but I'm really nervous. You will think I'm weird. Right. So then that's it. You took a stand with yourself. You say, okay, my fear is not going to run my life. I have fear, but I am not the fear. Right. So by telling the truth, you recapture your power. So you can always tell the truth. Always. I would like to tell you something, but I'm frightened you'll get upset. I would like to share with you, but I don't know if I'm going to do a good job. So if I don't do a good job, let me know and I'll explain. Right? So tell the truth. That's the first thing.
I really love that, because I didn't think of, when you were saying before, that one of the stops for me is thinking that I already know how someone's going to react. Like, for example, a parent. Like that's a big, like, oh, they won't be interested, I just won't share it. So that's a great tip, because that's something to start with, is I really want to share this with you, but I'm noticing I'm not sure how you'll react. That's a great way to start.
Yeah, or I'm not sure you will be interested.
Right. Yes.
Right. So yesterday during my conversation with my friends, right, I went full wisdom teacher for a while. And then I stopped and I said, listen, do you want me to stop? Because, you know, this is my passion and I go for it. And they said, no.
So then I can't imagine someone saying yes.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I have people that say, no, shut up.
Wow.
All right. So look at what sharing is, right? We're not talking about sharing opinions. That's telling opinion, dumping opinion, judgment, evaluation, complaints, you know, the vomit and all that, right? If you need to vomit something, just tell the person, can you listen to me? Give me 3 minutes. You can time me. I'm going to vomit for 3 minutes. And you go, yeah, 3 minutes. And if you have a good friend, she will say, time, stop. Okay. All right. So that's not sharing. Sharing is not giving a weather report. Right. Okay. I just went, I took my dog and I put a blue collar on, and then I turned right, and then she peed, and then I had to pick up the paper. No, that's not sharing. That's a weather report, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what is sharing? Abby? My mother bakes a cake since I'm a child, right? That is the most delicious cake ever because of what she puts in. It's vanilla, which is the love of my life, vanilla and rum. And I don't know if you ever baked with vanilla and rum. but the entire house smells. So I used to come back home and have this smell, and I knew she had baked the cake, right? And then it's called a sand cake. So when you put it in your mouth, not only is it delicious, but it dissolves in your mouth.
Oh my gosh, I don't think I've
Yeah.
ever had a cake like that before.
No, do you feel like tasting it?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I was just about to
But-
say, maybe I need to go visit your mom because
Yeah, that's right. Because I can talk about it for half an hour and have your mouth water, right?
Yeah.
But until you taste it, you won't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So to share the cake, you need to eat it. And that's what sharing is. When you share with someone authentically, they actually have an experience of what you shared.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
And most people just talk about the cake.
Mm.
And their mouths water and they want to know more. But when you're the kind of human being that authentically share and gives a piece of a cake to somebody else, they actually have the taste.
How sweet. I really love that. It is really very generous when you think of it that way.
Oh, it's the most generous thing you can do.
It's beautiful.
And you know, when somebody gives you a piece of a cake, right, that they baked, what are you going to spit on it?
Right.
Right? Of course, you will want them, you know, when somebody tells you a story and they tell you something and then you have something to say, you want to say something back. Okay, well, that's what happens. You will give them a piece of your cake. And that is where you present the connection to being, to the oneness, to love, to safety, right? So,
Beautiful.
and the only thing that is needed is to know the difference between all the vomit and the noise and actually sharing authentically what you're dealing with as a human being.
Mm.
Oh, I'm going to do it now. I'm going to share something that is important to me. I'm going to do it publicly. All right.
Thank you.
And you want to know, everybody, yes, I'm nervous. Yes, it is very personal to me. It's very intimate. And if I don't share it, I won't have my intention realized. Right.
Wow.
So Abby and I finished the book, Awakening All Sleepwalkers. It was published on the 25th of May. And by the way, go to our website, sophiemcladen.com, at books, and you can order it. And really, really do. All right, so here's my sharing. So now I've set up the context, right? Okay, here's my sharing. I've put, this book is 30 years of my work, right?
Yes, yes, it is.
Abby, you know, because you worked with me, I have withheld nothing. Everything I stand for, experience, want to give to people, give in my private courses, in my group courses, on my website, in my video, everything is on this book. And my human is terrified that people won't buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Can you get that?
Completely.
Yeah. So, you know, we all have a dream, right? Have a dream that this book really makes a difference for millions of people, because everything in there with colors and pictures. And so I am watching my conversation in my mind saying, okay, you did it, but you know nothing about marketing. You don't have a publisher. You don't have an agent, blah, 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 right? And I realize, in fact, Abby, that whatever happens with a book is always perfect. So the publication of the book with holding one of my biggest dreams to go viral with this book has allowed me to go to a new level in letting go of anxiety and fear and worry and the conversation in my head and stay present. That's how I deal with it.
Wow, Sophie.
Mm. And I'm very, very present when we accomplish something big, right? And this publication of this book wasn't really a victory. The space after that publication is one of, it's like postpartum depression, right? You make the most beautiful creation in the world. You have a baby and then you go down.
Yes, totally. Absolutely.
All right. So that's how I am at the moment. I have this very loud conversation. Will it work? Won't it work? You need to do that. You need to do that. You don't know how to market a book and all that. And the other side is everything is perfect. The universe always gives us what we need, not what we want. Everything is an opportunity to learn, and I just need to give up those conversations. All right. So I shared myself, right? I shared 100% what is going on with me right now.
Yes. And thank you so much for sharing it, Sophie, because what I got out of what you shared, and we've already talked about this, right? So I have gotten pieces, but what I really got in this conversation was your ability to see the conversations in your head as something other than the presence of who you really are, and that you can stay centered in that place and hear those conversations, but not
loud. Loud.
That they're loud. And that if you were to go into them fully, the terror is more in that space. But if you
I would be paralyzed. I would be paralyzed, right? So look, let's go through the checklist. Do you think less of me for having those loud conversations?
No, I actually respect you more. I have more.
Did you think something for yourself, and are you going to use that distinction that is, this is me and this is a conversation I have in my head?
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Do you embrace my humanity?
Completely. And relate to it, by the way.
Right. And does it create an even more profound connection between us so that we are one, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, she had loud conversation in her head as well, but that's how she deals with it.
Absolutely.
Right.
And in fact, it even freed me up a little bit because I was able to relate what you were talking about to what's going on for me. It freed me a little bit to be able to do what you offered.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Right. So I called my mother. She said, "How are you?" I can say, "Well, the weather is not very nice and I walked my dogs," or I can authentically share.
Right.
Today was a day of watching this very noisy cloud of conversation for no possibility, but I've managed to keep breathing.
Wow. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And I also hear like what courage it takes, especially with people like moms and dads and siblings and whatever, partners, people that you're really close to, what courage it takes to choose to authentically share as opposed to go to what's considered normal, talking about the weather kind of stuff.
Yes. And of course I don't share with the cash person at the bank or whatever, right? I'm not going to share my private life, but truly, when I go to dinner party, I enjoy the chit chat for a little while, but I always manage to share something that opens up people. So what I love about sharing is that you can be the master of your conversations, or you can be the source of your connection with people.
I really like that a lot. And I find that for me, that's a very important part of my life and relationships. And I love that people feel safe with me. That's very important to me. And so it has to do both with listening well and sharing well. And it's amazing what happens for me in my life when I have safe, loving containers of communication and energy with other people in my life. It just makes a huge difference everywhere.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
sorry.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, just including cashiers and people at the bank, and it's a different type of sharing. I'm not sharing my personal life, but I make it a point to say, oh my goodness, thank you for taking your time.
But that's not the same. You're taking us away from sharing.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sophie.
That's not the same. We're talking about sharing, right? So being connected can happen without sharing by bringing the space of love.
That makes sense.
But we were talking about sharing. So if you mix everything, you're going to lose your power.
Okay, that's a great point.
So for sharing, let's go back to sharing. Every conversation that are life altering, relationship altering, you need to have an intention. And really what I find works extremely well is to state your intention. Right? So we just did it, right? Why is it important to say what your intention is because look, we started by sharing, you got so excited, you went to loving, and we have an intention. So I got you back to the intention.
Yes.
Right? I hold the intention on the call.
Yes.
So when you have a conversation with someone, you have an intention to get connected or to share or to get some advice or to get their view or to create intimacy. And if you feel a bit uncomfortable, say it.
Yeah.
I would love to have a conversation with you so that we feel closer.
Yes.
So let me show you a piece of me. And so that's what sharing is really the joy of life. It is exquisite, and everybody has experienced the miracles. At the end of a party, after a few glasses of wine, most of the guests leave, and you stay with 4 or 5, and you have those conversations that are real and authentic until 4 o'clock in the morning, and you have the best of times. That is sharing.
Yes, those are the best.
Yeah, those are the best.
Yep.
All right, darling, do you want to see if we have any comment or questions?
Yes. Sorry, everyone. I just 1 second looking down. I'm getting to my.
So while you do that, everybody get to our website, sophiemclean.com. Order the book. You can have author copy. You can have ebooks. You can go on Amazon, and please, please, please give it away. We always want to make a difference in the world. I promise you, this book can make a huge difference. Okay? So please make it a game for you and contribute to the elevation, to the creation of a new culture for humankind. All right, anything, or we move on?
No, thank you, Maureen, for being here, and for everyone else who's here. Thank you, but no questions or comments. All
right, everybody, if you have something you want us to talk about, just don't hesitate. And we love you. Have a great Memorial Day weekend or day, and we'll talk to you next Monday.
That's right. Bye, everyone. Have a great week.
Bye.